What's been happening? Because it's been a year since I last spoke to you, and all kinds of things have been happening. You've been back on tour, you've got a new DVD. You did that dreadful thing with Piers Morgan. Were you happy with that?
No, not really. I didn't watch the thing with Piers Morgan. Piers is a sort of a mate. And when I did that Awful Hell's Kitchen programme, he was sort of lurking about in the audience, and he came over and spoke to me and whatever. And then I got a call saying, would you like to come along and do Piers' new chat show? Well, okay. I thought I'll go along and do this new chat show. At the time, and I don't know what the stakes are now because I work a lot with the military, he was particularly hated by the British military for allegedly putting pictures of, things in the newspapers that allegedly happened to Iraqi prisoners, etc., etc. And he wasn't well liked, put it that way. So I thought, well, I'll just go along and meet this chap and have a good old chat, and we'll put the record straight, and I'll go and tell the troops what a great bloke he is and all that stuff. Well, I'll go and do the interview, and they take out all the good bits, and they just leave in all the horrid bits. And then, after it's recorded and done and I've gone back to Dubai, they tell you that the programme's called The Dark Side of Fame. If I'd have known it was called The Dark Side of Fame, I wouldn't have done it, really.
Had you missed the last series? Because it was on last year, but you were in Dubai.
Yeah, I never saw it. No, it's not. Piers Morgan is not someone I rush to switch on, really.
Well, I mean, who does?
Well, I mean, he's doing all right for himself, him and Simon Cowell. Simon's carved out a little career for him in America, and that's where he should be.
I didn't think you came out of it too bad, but the point is, why do we need to be reminded of the negative stuff? I tell you who I was talking to yesterday, who's your biggest fan, is Laurie Mansfield.
What did he say then?
Well,
Come on, tell me.
I'll tell you what he was saying. Above all the people he mentioned, he kept pointing you out as being the most creative, the most fun, the most funny, and the most disciplined. And it's so true.
I got the negatives, that's why. I've got the negatives. He has to say nice things about me, otherwise I'll send off to the scandal newspapers about it.
I mean, he did say you're a loose cannon, which you are, because you say what you think. And in this PR-savvy world, they don't like that, do they?
No, they don't. But there you go. I have to live in this world as well, and my life is 10 times more frustrating than the people that don't like me, because there's only one of me. There's a million of the other idiots around that I have to put up with. It's ridiculous. You've only got to look at the tragedy that's gone on with local councils that can't really keep their eye on what one would reluctantly call the underclasses of our country, and all these things go wrong. And basically, I feel like saying, I told you so. It's gone mental, our country. Someone needs to get a grip of it. We need to have me, Jeremy Clarkson, and Richard Littlejohn as 3, prime ministers. We'll have a week each, and we'll sort it out. Don't you worry about that. Them jails will be bursting.
What about Jeremy Kyle and Tricia for social services? They could run that, couldn't they?
Well, I don't know why we have a social services. If you can't work, tough, starve. That's it. Yeah. I always say this, don't I? If you can't afford national, I'd scrap the NHS. So if you can't afford national insurance, if you can't afford private medicine, die. And I said, well, that's probably not the best slogan one could have, to be liked by the poor.
I'd love to know what the Daily Mail would make of that, or the Guardian.
Well, the Guardian and ate my guts. But you think about it, people would say, well, hang on a minute, I'm not paying for that drug that will save my life because I shouldn't have to. And in the meantime, they go out and buy a widescreen television. What's more important, your health or what? I understand where people are coming from, but it's much simpler to opt out of it and say, look, all right, the NHS, you walk, shake hands with a doctor in there and you're going to die of some bug or, rotten food and horribleness. Well, then just don't get that widescreen telly, get your 600 quid and get some private medical insurance. Job done.
How much of that do you actually believe, and how much of that is shtick?
No, that's the truth. I believe that if people want to moan about the NHS, fine, moan about it. But in the meantime, opt out and get some private medical insurance.
But would you agree that there is a certain proportion of society who actually can't even afford that, who don't have the plasma screens? I know what you're saying. There's nothing more frustrating than somebody saying they can't afford a dinner and then they're smoking 50 a day.
Why can't they afford a dinner and smoke 50 a day? No, there's uneducated lowlifes in this country whose vote cancels mine, and I don't like them. You've just got to pick up the newspaper and hear these ridiculous stories about these people who want to opt out of society. They want to really opt out of society and want to be take all the time, and they're prepared to give nothing to their country. Well, I just have no time for them, and they deserve everything they get.
And that's why you've moved to Dubai. You're sick of it.
Yeah. Now I can be one of them lowlifes in Dubai, and no one will know. The fact is, my main purge now on stage, my main moan, is Mr. Average lowlife white man who says that immigration has ruined our country, and I'm totally against that. I think immigration and has made our country what it is today, and makes our country a better place to be. The only thing that needs to be sorted out is the political correctness of the whole thing. If they leave us alone, us Brits, we'll sort it out, but don't ram it down our throat that we have to love everybody, because you just fuel the bigots. I'm king of the bigots because I know that, because Clive Anderson just told me.
Let's not worry about what he thinks. Is he still going, by the way? I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, he is still going. Yeah, the comb over's getting a bit more sun. I think he's velcroed it to his head.